Today, I wanted to discuss two authors, Maya Angelou and Viktor Frankl, who at first glance might have nothing in common, but from whom I have actually learned a great deal about life suffering and how we can not only face it, but find the courage to overcome it. Maya Angelou is an American poet, essayist, as well as a civil rights activist. And Viktor Frankl was an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, as well as a Holocaust survivor. Both of them were very different and led different lives, but once we learn more about their lives and what they had to overcome, then we can see that what they have in common is how they were able to transform the suffering that they went through into not only meaning, purpose, but also um, make it their strength. Maya Angelou turned her childhood trauma of being sexually abused, as well as the oppressive racism and violence she had to endure throughout her whole life, into um, not only poetry but also activism, and she became a voice of resilience and a symbol of indomitable spirit for the Black people in America. I had the chance to learn a lot about her life as well as her convictions and her beliefs through her writing, and especially the book, her autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, as well as Letter to My Daughter, a collection of essays where she shares the life lessons and wisdom she has acquired throughout her life, and which she wanted to share with women who are looking to not only find their voice but also find their identity. On the other hand, we have Viktor Frankl, who was able to survive the Holocaust and its atrocities by focusing on his freedom of will, on how he chose to interpret the suffering he went through. And later, he developed logotherapy, which is a psychotherapy that focuses on proving that humans, can find meaning even in the darkest situations, in the hardest conditions, and making that their motivation for living. If you're interested in learning more about his experience during the Holocaust, as well as learning more about the logotherapy, I highly recommend his book, Men's Search for Meaning, which has been for a long time one of my favorite nonfiction books, as well as Yes to Life in Spite of Everything, which is less of a memoir and more of a theory-based collection of essays and lectures that he gave in his life. As we can see, both of them went through horrible events, but instead of letting those events, those hardships, destroy them, they decided to take back their power and alchemize their pain into purpose and meaning. Transform their pain not only into empathy, but also human universal wisdom. Both of them are firm believers in the dignity of human life, as well as the fact that every life is sacred, and the fact that our humanity is something that we have to always protect, claim, and affirm, especially in the hardest times, and whenever we're facing oppressive systems or regimes. And both of them, they use their voices to reclaim back their power by writing their autobiographies, to not only bring awareness to what they went through, so to lift and inspire others who might be going through, if not similar, but as hard and painful trials in their lives. Their stories for them were ways to not only heal, but also to speak their truth and empower others, empower themselves and empower others. At every moment in life, they chose moral courage above their personal interest or comfort, and always advocating for those who need it. Maya Angelou was a major figure in the civil rights movement, working alongside Martin Luther King Jr. as well as Malcolm X. Viktor Frankl, on his end, focused on those who were struggling with depression, nihilism, and despair. While their focus might seem slightly different because Maya Angelou was fighting against the systemic racism, segregation, poverty, gender violence, and Viktor Frankl was mostly focusing on the destructive effects of fascism and totalitarianism. But if we look at the core, the essence of their suffering was universal, uh, for it spoke of the horrors of oppression, brutality, dehumanization, and degradation of human lives, um, as well as the lifelong impact it has on those who had to endure it. But both of them lived a life that chose to convey that real courage is facing the fear and refusing to let it shrink you, refusing to let it transform you, and instead taking back your power by deciding what do you want to make of it. I think both Maya Angelou and Viktor Frankl wanted to show and prove to us that the human spirit can transcend any suffering. um, dignity and dignity of life and meaning can be found even in the most dire situations, um, and that it is our response to our pain and our suffering that ultimately defines our freedom and what we want our life to be. In the beginning, I have mentioned that Maya Angelou is also a poet, and I think her most famous poem is uh, Still I Rise, which really encapsulates her whole life philosophy. And like she said in her own words, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Whether it's her poems, whether it's her essays, whether it's her speeches, um, or any other writing, her message has always been about resilience, human dignity, as well as rising despite oppression. Viktor Frankl, on the other hand, was highly inspired by Friedrich Nietzsche, who is famous for saying not only what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but also he who has a why can bear anyhow. And Viktor Frankl's most famous quote is, um, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, which is the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Um, and basically, throughout his life, after overcoming what he did, the rest of his life advocating for and finding meaning in suffering instead of letting it destroy us. Maya Angelou was seeking to rise in empowerment in spite of the suffering she lived. Uh, Viktor Frankl was actually searching for the purpose behind the suffering. But at the end of the day, the lesson that we need to take away is the fact that pain will make us stronger and better. And like the metal that is forged by fire, we are also forged by trials of fire that we have to face in our own lives. I'm not trying to make light of anyone's situation or anyone's hardship and struggles. I completely understand how hard it is. Um, I think we all have our own demons and um, trials that we go through. But I think it is very important to always remind us that we have the freedom to decide how we want to face it. Only we alone have the power to decide whether we are going to let it drag us down or we are going to rise from the ashes. We need to realize that we alone have the power to turn our painful experience into something meaningful instead of letting it uh, become even more painful because we only see it as meaningless cruelty or suffering. Of course, I'm not saying that we need to be grateful for the hardships that we're going through. I'm not saying that Viktor Frankl was grateful for the Holocaust because it helped him develop logotherapy, right? Or that Maya Angelou was happy of living the life that she had to go through and facing the abuses and the humiliation simply because of her skin color. But the thing that we need to understand is that while the lived wrenching pain of what we went through can never be undone or unlived or changed, we can take away its destructive power over us by transforming it into our strongest asset, and let it be our testament of what we have overcome. As Rumi famously said, let the wound be the place where the light enters you. Thank you so much for listening and staying until the end. If you like this video, please like and subscribe if you feel like doing so, and please share it with whoever might want to hear it. Please share in the comments what you think of this concept and if you agree or disagree. I would love to hear your thoughts. Wishing you a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. Please stay safe, stay strong, and until next time.